scientists found something that broke their models. A black hole so massive, it should not exist. Not big, not record-breaking, impossible. According to everything we know about how the universe works, TON 618 should never have been able to grow this large. Not in the time it had, not even close. And yet, it's there, 18 billion light-years away, waiting. This is the story of an object that defies physics, and what it tells us about how little we actually understand. Act 1, The Discovery. A small observatory in Mexico. Routine work, cataloging thousands of faint dots of light, recording positions, moving on. One of those dots was labeled TON 618. It looked like a star, faint, blue, completely unremarkable. Nobody paid it any attention. That was a mistake. Decades later, spectroscopy changed everything. By splitting the light from TON 618 into its component wavelengths, like a prism pulling apart a beam of sunlight, astronomers could read what the object actually was. It wasn't a star. It was the core of an entire galaxy, 18 billion light-years away. Let that distance sink in. The light we see from TON 618 today began its journey when the universe was less than a quarter of its current age, before our sun existed, before our planet existed, when the cosmos was still figuring out what it wanted to be. And at the center of that distant galaxy, something was feeding, something that would turn out to be the largest thing we've ever found. Act 2, The Quasar. TON 618 is a quasar, and quasars are not just big black holes. They are the most violent events the universe produces on a sustained basis. Picture a supermassive black hole surrounded by a disk of gas and dust, spiraling inward at a fraction of the speed of light. The friction, the collisions, the compression, everything heats up to tens of thousands of degrees. The energy output of TON 618 equals the combined light of 100 trillion suns. That is not a typo. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains roughly 300 billion stars. TON 618 outshines 300 galaxies like ours, all at once. If it replaced the black hole at the center of our galaxy, it would be 23 times brighter than our full moon every single night. The concept of darkness would cease to exist on Earth. And then there are the jets. Magnetic fields coil and snap under the pressure. They launch two beams of plasma, relativistic jets from the black hole's poles at nearly the speed of light. Each jet stretches for millions of light-years, longer than entire galaxies, blowing away gas, shutting down star formation. TON 618 isn't just sitting in its galaxy, it's actively reshaping it, deciding its fate. Act 3, The Scale. Now let's talk about the black hole itself. 66 billion solar masses is not a number the brain was built to process. So let's build up to it. Our solar system, from the Sun out to Pluto, spans roughly 12 billion kilometers. Light takes over 11 hours to cross it. The event horizon of TON 618, the point of no return, is 400 billion kilometers across. Our entire solar system fits inside TON 618's event horizon, 33 times over with room to spare. For comparison, Sagittarius A1, the black hole at the center of our galaxy, is already considered supermassive, incomprehensibly large. TON 618 is 16,000 times more massive than Sagittarius A1. 16,000 times. If Sagittarius A1 is a car, TON 618 is every car ever manufactured in human history combined. Act 4. The Approach. Imagine you're approaching TON 618, far enough to survive, close enough to see. The first sign something is wrong, the stars. They're not where they should be. Gravity this intense bends light itself, photons traveling in curves instead of straight lines. Stars behind the black hole appear in front of it. A perfect ring of light forms at the edge, an Einstein ring. You're seeing objects that are literally behind what you're looking at. Physics has stopped working the way you learned, and you haven't even gotten close yet. As you move closer, the colors change. Brilliant white light from the accretion disk starts to redden. Gravity is stretching the wavelengths of photons as they fight to escape, draining the energy from light itself. Eventually, the disk would appear infrared, invisible to human eyes, as if the black hole were pulling the color out of the universe. And then there's time. This is where it gets genuinely disturbing. The closer you are to the event horizon, the slower time moves for you relative to anyone watching from a safe distance. Seconds near the horizon correspond to years in the outside universe. Someone watching you approach would see you slow, freeze, stop, suspended at the edge of time, a statue at the border of the unknowable. They would grow old and die. You would not have moved. Now, back to the problem I opened with. Why should TON 618 not exist? Black holes grow over billions of years. They start small, stellar remnants, collapsing gas clouds. They feed slowly, merge occasionally, grow gradually. TON 618 reached 66 billion solar masses when the universe was less than 3 billion years old. 3 billion years. That's not enough time by any model we currently have for a black hole to reach anything close to that size. So either TON 618 started from something far larger than we thought possible, or it fed at a rate that violates every limit we've calculated. Or, and this is the one that keeps physicists awake at night, our models of how black holes grow are simply wrong. We don't know which one it is. We genuinely don't know. But TON 618 isn't just a mystery, it's also a tool. Because it shines so brightly across 18 billion light-years, its light passes through vast clouds of gas on the way to us. Each cloud leaves a fingerprint in the spectrum. By reading those fingerprints, astronomers can map the chemistry of the early universe, trace how matter was distributed, how galaxies first formed, reconstruct the hidden history of the first billion years after the Big Bang. The most extreme thing we've ever found is also one of the most useful, a monster that doubles as a lighthouse. When we look at TON 618, we are not just looking at a black hole. We are looking at the limit of what our physics can explain. And every time we point our telescopes in its direction, It reminds us of the same uncomfortable truth. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to us.